Well, I know Bills Mafia has been waiting for this one. We heard from Coach Sean McDermott about the banged-up Bills that are out there and got the official injury report for Week 4 against the New Orleans Saints. So on today's edition of the Bills Breakdown, we're going to break down each injured Bill and what it means, who's going to play, who's leaning towards not playing, all that and more in just a moment. First, though, make sure you are subscribed to the channel. We're in the middle of a Week 4 sub-battle, and it is heated against the folks over at Saints Now. Just losing by 5 right now. We get at least 5 new members of the Mafia to hit that subscribe button for free Bills content every single day. And if you do and enjoy the content, join us on Sunday. We'll be live at 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Bills versus Saints. Have a live pregame tailgate, go through all a bunch of stuff. We'll have some drinks on hand as well. It'll be an awesome game environment. Join us for Bills versus Saints in Week 4 right here on the Bills Breakdown. Turn those notifications on as well so you know when we go live. Alrighty, the injury report is here. DNPs for Wednesday. Rule all these guys as questionable for now, but some guys leaning more towards out right now, and I think Bills fans can put the pieces together on that. Ed Oliver still dealing with the ankle. Matt Milano dealing with the pectoral injury. Keonta Jenkins, a new name on the Bills injury report. He's dealing with a leg injury that he sustained in Week 3 against the Dolphins, and another injury that was sustained in that Week 3 matchup that we really didn't notice all too much is Spencer Brown going down with a calf injury here. He did not practice on Wednesday. That's going to be the injury that we kind of focus on a little bit more here on the front half of today's show, because in Ed Oliver, Matt Milano's case, it just doesn't seem like they're going to play this week. We knew with Ed Oliver that more likely than not, it kind of is looking like an ankle sprain here for him, and that's a multi-week injury. Matt Milano, they didn't put him on IR, but just the verbiage and the way that Sean McDermott's been talking about that injury, it doesn't seem like it was just going to be one game missed for Milano here, so it doesn't look like either of these two guys are going to suit up for Week 4. Sean McDermott did say about all 4 guys that did not practice on Wednesday that all are improving and heading in the right direction. So the king of vague, an NFL head coach, and Sean McDermott specifically loves to be vague with these injury updates and whatnot. He says everybody's heading in the right direction, but not really going to comment on how available any of those guys will be for Sunday. Let's talk about Spencer Brown, though, because if he's not available for Sunday, it's a big hit to this Bills offense. One of the captains of that Bills offensive line, and I mean, look, he's been solid so far this year, specifically in the run game, and that's what's going to take a massive hit to this Buffalo Bills offense, because that's been their bread and butter so far this season. Yeah, 54.6 pass blocking grade isn't great. He's allowed 9 pressures, 3 in each game respectively, but has yet to allow a sack, has not had a penalty in each of the last 2 weeks, and overall has a grade of 74.7, and he's very much above average to good to great right tackle in this league. I think so it was NFL GMs or players last year ranked him as the 3rd best right tackle in the league. So this would be a huge loss if he's not able to go for Week 4. Brown also, this is his 2nd injury of the season so far. I mean, technically of the year. He had a back flare-up during training camp that kept him out of a couple practices. So a little bit of banged up Spencer Brown here for the start of this season, but hopefully it isn't anything too long-term. With a calf injury, though, it gets a little bit dicey because while it is like position dependent, based on what you're using that calf for, it usually requires, though, no matter what, at least 1 missed game here. No matter the severity of the injury, soft tissue stuff, it takes a little while to kind of heal up. The extended break for the Bills, they play a long week in between 3 and 4. It is going to help the potential availability of Spencer Brown, but I want to make sure that he's good to go. This isn't one of your most formidable opponents on the schedule this season. I don't want to risk any re-aggravation on that calf, which, if you're familiar with calf injuries, we know that happens all the time, and something could pop if you don't really take care of it properly. The Bills' offensive line, I think, can sustain Spencer Brown not being able to suit up as Ryan Vandermark, I would presume, would get that swing tackle responsibility at the starting right tackle spot. Chase Lunt is a little bit of too inexperienced for me to believe that he would get the right tackle starting job if Brown's not able to go. But you got Dawkins, you got Edwards, you got McGovern, Osiris Torrance holding things down. This group has been awesome, man. And I think even with the Spencer Brown potential loss, it's not going to make the Bills not run their 12 and 13 personnel as high of a clip as they've been running over the last couple of weeks. So good stuff there. Through 3 weeks in the NFL season, this offensive line unit has been, you could argue, the best in the league. Bills have been running the football as good as anybody else, and they also have allowed the NFL's lowest pressure rate through 3 weeks. Not going to say that they've played the most elite defenses in the world, the one elite defense that you could consider that they actually put 41 points on them, and nobody was playing defense in that game. But regardless, the Bills have allowed a 20.7 pressure rate so far this year. That's really, really good, and Spencer Brown's a big reason why. Hopefully they can sustain his loss if he's not able to go on Sunday. Keonta Jenkins we'll talk about for a quick second here. He worked off to the side, kind of on a stationary bike here. Jenkins, more of a special teams piece. He's kind of been banged up throughout the beginning of this season, but we'll see if he's able to go for Sunday. I'm not anticipating that really. If I had to just make a claim right now, I wouldn't say any of those 4 guys end up playing this week, but we'll monitor the rest of the injury reports as they come out. Will they end up beginning to practice? I would definitely lean no on Oliver and Milano, but in the case of Jenkins and Brown, that's absolutely something that could be in the cards. If you want the Bills to be healthy, send some good vibes for me. Hit the like button on today's video. Show them that we are supporting these guys as they rehab from their injuries, and just go down below, show some love, hit that like button if you want the Bills to be 100% healthy. Manifest the good vibes. Next, we'll talk about some other Bills injured players, but guys we have yet to see this season so far. 2 names on injured reserve, Max Hairston, Tyler Bass. Those injury updates around the corner. First, though, I got to tell you guys about our sponsor, and that's Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every single day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid, and it can get you up to 2,000 times your money this football season with just one lineup watching your Buffalo Bills. It's daily fantasy made easy. All you guys got to do is pick a lineup of 2 to 6 players and just pick more or less on their projected stats. Whether it's football, you can put college football in there. Baseball playoffs around the corner. Basketball creeping up as well. You can mix and match all these different sports, stat types, and players as well. I have won over $12,000 on Prize Picks. I've been a customer longer than they've even been a sponsor here at Chat Sports because they're the best. They always want to make it easier for you guys to win real money in real time with awesome deals like a free $50 for new users in lineups when you play your first $5 lineup, but you got to use our promo code CLNS, like you see in the bottom right of your screen right there. My lineup for Week 4, Bills and Saints, I got the following. Dalton Kincaid, more than 37.5 receiving yards. Yeah, we're going to feed the hot hand as he continues to have a strong start to his 3rd NFL season. James Cook, more than half a rushing or receiving touchdown, would be a Bills franchise record if he gets in the paint this week. Spencer Rattler, more than 207.5 passing yards. It's going to be garbage time for the New Orleans Saints. You can tell my picks or fade them. Just do it at Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use the code CLNS for $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Don't worry, you don't have to win that lineup to receive the $50. It's guaranteed. So, code CLNS, $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. Speaking of working off to the side like Keonta Jenkins was, well, Max Hairston was working off to the side, and we got a bunch of clips. I can't really show them here, but we got a bunch of clips and really are seeing more in a practice setting than we have seen from Hairston really since he suffered the injury back at the beginning of training camp. So it is awesome to see, but at the same time, not so sure how close he is to returning. He's still wearing a pretty big knee brace right there. Wasn't exactly moving the most fluid in all these individual drills that he was doing in open field, but it is notable as he is able to be activated onto the practice window, his 21-day practice window after this game with the New Orleans Saints. But I'm not so sure that practice window is going to be opened here. Listen to what Sean McDermott had to say. He said he's working and moving in the right direction. I don't know how many weeks it will be. You've got to remember now, Max has been out since whatever day or week in training camp. So all the physical part, yes, but also all the mental part and the playbook and those things. So right now, I think lowering expectations and managing them and just taking it one day at a time and seeing when and if he can come back. When and if? That's probably the worst update we've gotten on Max Hairston so far this season. Really, he's kind of been radio silent from that camp for the most part, and now we hear that there is a non-zero chance. I'm not going to say, strong possibility or even probable, but a non-zero chance that Max Hairston doesn't play a game for your Buffalo Bills this upcoming season. And I saw people speculating on Twitter and whatnot that even if he does come back, just the time that he's missed, Sean McDermott doesn't really give those guys a lot of green light when they haven't been in the environment and around in practice and all that stuff for a substantial part of the season. So people were speculating that he might not even get a single start if he is able to come back, might not even leap Dorian strong on the depth chart. Matt Milano did say this, though, about the when and if comment. After a follow-up question, McDermott said he doesn't want to cast doubt on a potential return, but it's a unique injury. He emphasized how much work mentally and physically Max has to do to get back. Quote, but yes, the hope is yes, he's able to return. So, good news, good new reassurance there that, he's not casting doubt on Hairston's entire 2025 rookie season, but definitely something to note here is this is a very precarious injury to recover from. So it doesn't sound like he'll be activated next week after the mandatory 4 games after going on IR to start the season. This LCL injury, this tendon that he ended up spraining. It's not an easy one to come back from. Specifically, the rehab is really the issue here. It takes a while. There's a strong possibility of setbacks and all this different stuff. Banged Up Bills did a pretty good job contextualizing everything. He does all this great Bills injury updates and whatnot, research and stuff too. He's a physical therapist, so shout out to the doctor. And he had this to say on the Maxwell Hairston stuff. He says that, does this suggest that there was more damage than originally stated? Possibly. Does this also mean a setback at some point? Can't rule that out either. Hopefully he can return to practice soon, but they don't want to open that window up until he's ready to go, because you have 21 days, and then you'd have to go back on IR if you're not ready to go and be activated to the 53-man roster on game day. This is good to see he's out there. We haven't seen this. I was hoping he'd be out of the brace to practice, but it doesn't look close yet. I can see why McDermott was tempering expectations. That timeline to return is open-ended now. The drills themselves don't tell us much. But in those drills, he was saying he's not going full speed, but the push off the right leg isn't great. I'm sure it's still tender. We need to see more lateral movements, which will stress the ligament, but we won't see that for a bit still. Banged Up Bills also noted that the knee and his LCL injury here, when he's trying to move laterally and backwards, he's got a little bit of a hitch in his movement. So clearly, he's just not close to being ready to suit up on game day for the Buffalo Bills. And kind of with this injury, when I was reading up into it and stuff like that, the troubles with coming back from it, the LCL, that tendon in your knee, not only does it cross over the actual joint of your knee, which the ACL and the MCL do not, the LCL crosses that, so there's a lot of stress when you're bending and planting and trying to move laterally and whatnot. The LCL provides a ton of lateral stability. So there's some people I was reading about, talk about the injury, because I believe Zay Flowers sustained this that made him miss the AFC Championship game, AFC Divisional game last year. But it provides a lot of lateral stability. So what does a cornerback need to do? Constantly backpedal, constantly be moving laterally side to side. It is a very precarious injury in itself, but especially for a cornerback, somebody who relies on a lot of quick get off, quick speed, that's something that we have to, really, really, really take with caution here with the Maxwell Hairston recovery. So it's not going to be for a little bit. It's definitely not going to be next week. Hopefully, maybe sometime after the bye for the Bills, which we speculated on yesterday's show. We will see with Maxwell Hairston, but good to know that he's back out there on the practice field and getting some work in. Show some love to Hairston down in the comment section. Wish him continued improvement in his rehab, continued strong recovery here. Type his jersey number down below. Give me some 31s in the comment section before we get a couple more Bills injury updates to get to. Speaking of that IR, Tyler Bass may not be getting activated next week either. Sean McDermott talked about this injury, and it is not looking good for a return, but I don't think it's too bad for Bills fans here, as Matt Prater has been more than serviceable over the first 3 weeks. Here is what Sean McDermott had to say. He said, according to Jay Skersey, said kicker Tyler Bass continues to make progress in his return from injury, but the team isn't sure if he'll be able to return to the active roster next week when he's first eligible. And the Banged Up Bills went and quoted it and said, considering how long this has lingered, there's truth to this statement. We don't know if he's had any injections or procedures since going on IR, if he can do other activities pain-free, still touch and go. So he's been dealing with this basically the entire second half of 2025, and it's unfortunate, man, because Tyler Bass, he's good. Bills drafted him. I don't know, though. Is it worth kind of just hanging on to a guy who's not necessarily the most healthy and available at a position that you need to be healthy and available because you don't have backups on a daily basis at the kicker position? And when you got a guy like Matt Prater, 41 years old, 7 of 8 so far, that was a weird shank that he had on that one miss. Then 9 of 9 from extra points, 52-yard field goal. He still got the boot on him. Don't need to rush Tyler Bass back anytime soon as far as my point of view goes. You can let me know if you think differently down in the comments section. Last injury update that we have to get to. We showed this picture at the beginning of today's show. There's no real Josh Allen injury to note here, but he is still rocking the visor at practice. Not 100% known that if he'll wear it in the game this upcoming week, but is rocking the visor in practice, still keeping his nose there protected after he literally got punched by a Jets defender in week 2. Just ridiculous stuff. So Allen's still rocking the visor. Crazy aura. 17. We got him, and you do not. Make sure you follow me on Twitter. That'll do it for today's edition of Bills Breakdown by Chat Sports. At Tyler J. Smith, Allen X. Name's common. I am not, so it's got 2 H's. And make sure you are subscribed to the channel as well. We are ramping up our content here as we get further and further into the NFL season. And I'm very, very excited to bring you guys Bills vs. Saints coverage in Week 4. Join us for that watch party, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday. We'll see you guys in the next video. And as always, let's go Buffalo.